What's up, everybody? This is me, Candel. Welcome to the Fightin Foenatics Young Lions number 8 stream. If you don't know what Young Lions is, this is your first time here, because it has been a while since we've had a Young Lions. Young Lions is a series where we basically provide a lesson on a pretty important topic, and then afterwards we watch sets between players and see what they've learned from that lesson. So, today's lesson is blocking and punishing. You don't know what that is, don't know what blocking is, then I've got news for you. It's certainly a thing that you should know. We've definitely covered blocking in the past, possibly multiple times. I'm not sure, it's been quite a while now. But we've at least covered the basics of, high blocking, low blocking, and stuff like that, You block overheads high by holding backwards, you block lows low by holding down and backwards, and so on. But this is more to build on the concept of blocking, part of why it is so important. So, we're going to get started in just a second here. I know that Wishy Washy in chat had a question already, so I want to hear what that question is before we get started, because I am curious. In the meantime here, let's get into our own little training room.
Take your pick. Paprika.
Where's the new skin? Oh, there it is.
It is my solemn duty to say.
I think it should be fine if you just listen to the stream while playing. That's mostly just a concern on how strong your own personal connection is, because I've done tournament matches while listening to the stream before. It's mostly just a confidence issue on how well your connection can handle that. You can actually set the stream to lower quality, which can help. But yeah. Alright. Where do we begin? Now, quick review of blocking. Let's set this dummy to blocking always. Actually, let's set the dummy to attack me. So, if you already don't know, there are two types of attacks in this game, or in just about any fighting game. You've got low attacks, which you have to block while crouching by holding down and back. Pretty basic stuff. If you hold regular back, you won't block it. That's a low. And then you've got high attacks, which if you try to block crouching, you'll get hit. Just a really quick overview, just to make sure people remember these things. But what we are going to be talking about mostly today is how blocking relates to punishing, and what a punish even is to begin with. So, what is a punish? That's the first question we gotta ask ourselves. What the heck is this punish thing? Well, a punish in the most basic form is when you get guaranteed damage in response to something that your opponent does. That thing you do when you mash 5A at the end of a string. Yeah, that's part of it, but a punish can be... It doesn't have to do with blocking, or even strings. For example, if I hit Tianwo here and she can't block, that's a punish. A punish is basically guaranteed because your opponent is currently doing something that means that they cannot block whatever you do. And the most common types of punishes, there's 3 very common types of punishes, and we're going to be going over one of them today. But for reference, this type of punish here is called a whiff punish, where the opponent whiffs a move, they attack and it misses and they're left wide open, and then you hit them out of it. The other most common type of punish is an anti-air, where you respond to your opponent's jump and hit them with an attack that will stop their jump. Anti-airs are very important. they're probably something that we should cover in the future because of all the fundamental skills that fighting games teach, anti-airs is one of the most important. And it's something that you should keep in mind even if you don't quite have the knowledge on it. A lot of early fighting game success comes from the ability to block and punish your opponent's moves and the ability to anti-air them. Whiff punishes are usually much higher level, but anti-airs and block punishes, which is what we're covering today, are generally the most important things that you should be looking for when you're first starting out in any fighting game, really. So, let's make Tianwo do that one attack again. So the third type of punish, the one that we're going over today, is of course a block punish. When a move is able to be punished on block... Well, first let's detail how this works. So when you block an attack, you are put into something called block stun for a set amount of time, where you can't do anything. And your opponent is stuck in the animation of their move, and they can't do anything until they get out of that animation. So sometimes when you block a move, you will get out of block stun a lot earlier than your opponent gets out of their animation. And sometimes this gap is so large that you can actually hit them before they're able to do anything. And that's important because they can't block. Blocking is the one way you avoid damage in fighting games. You either don't get hit at all by having them, you know, miss you, or you block the attack and take no damage anyway. So, because your opponent can't block, because they're locked into their animation, that means that you get guaranteed damage on them. Now, this damage is very important because, like, it serves two purposes when you punish things. One, you're getting that free damage, and of course, damage is important because it leads to you actually winning the game. If you know, do enough damage to reduce their life bar to 0, then you win the round. And it will also dissuade them from using moves more. Like, you're limiting their options, because if you show them that you can stop them from using a move because you're punishing it, then they won't go for it very often. That's actually why you don't see a lot of Tianmos do this move, because it is punishable, as I will demonstrate here. Alright, I haven't punished this in a bit. There we go. I punished it. See, I have the dummy set to always blocking, so if I hit her out of this, then that means that there was no way she could have ever blocked it. So it's very important in fighting games to get a handle on how to punish things in general. Yeah, Tianmo's Ash is a pretty good example of a move that will take a bit of practice to punish, but it's not impossible. I probably should have picked an easier move to punish. There we go.
I see.
So, all of that damage that I just got, and possibly more, was free. There's nothing Tianmo really could have done to stop me from doing that. I don't actually know if she can do super. Oh, she can do super on block, but, you know, good luck. There's really nothing she can actually practically do to avoid taking damage there. Like, that's even more unsafe. I can punish that even harder. So, because punishes give you free damage, and when I say free, I mean, if you respond correctly, you will be rewarded with damage that your opponent cannot avoid. That's the definition of a punish, basically, you know? You get guaranteed damage for something that your opponent did. They made a mistake, and you're punishing them for it, as he would say. So, because you get guaranteed damage from punishes, it's very important to actually add them to your arsenal, because otherwise, you let your opponent get away with a lot of stuff, and you miss out on a lot of damage that you could otherwise be doing. So, in order to punish moves, you have to, of course, figure out which moves are punishable to begin with. So, the way that you can do this, there's a few ways you can learn which moves are punishable. One of these ways to learn is to just... If you see your opponent ending their string a lot, what you can do is you can check at the end of the string with just a jab. You can just mash jab when you think the opponent has done something that's possibly unsafe. This is what I call the trial and error approach, where your opponent will just do things. Like, let's say, I'm Tianwo, and I'm doing that. Tianwo does some block string. And it's clear that the string ended. So you just mash your A button and figure out if it actually hits or not. This is the way that a lot of players learn which moves are punishable and which moves are not when they first get into a new game. They will just go online, they'll fight people, and they'll wait for strings to end and then just press their light attack and see if it works. So this can be a very effective way of learning, if you can remember which moves actually get hit there or not. Yeah, it's a lot more exciting. It's riskier too, because, you know, the opponent might do something that looks unsafe, and then, you know, you get hit by a frame trap. So, of course it carries its risks, but it also teaches you when you shouldn't be pressing buttons, which is almost as important, if not more important, than learning when to actually press buttons. But for now, you're looking for moves that are definitely punishable. Another thing that you can do is to go into training mode and just look at different moves that you think might be unsafe. So like, that looks unsafe. And it is. And if I were to play as Tianwo, or if I were to do this move as Paprika, you would see on the bottom, at least in this game, it tells you the frame data. But this is like a method that doesn't involve frame data. This method, you just set the dummy to always blocking, or even better, you record the dummy doing the move and then blocking. And then if you miss the punish, they will block it. I did not miss that punish. That felt so slow. Yes, a general rule of thumb is that, like, a lot of the bigger moves, the big animation moves, big buttons, like, the launchers all look really spectacular, I would say, in this game. A lot of supers are punishable. Like, one of the most common punishable moves is just any character's super in almost any game. And you can see that that holds true here. If I were to do super as Paprika, you see I'm pretty wide open for a while there. It's generally a good idea to just test out your jab on opponents' moves, just to see if they're punishable. And you can generally get a feel for which moves are going to be punishable as you play more and more fighting games. You can kind of tell when a move looks punishable. The most common example is like, if you know Ryu's Shoryuken in Street Fighter, that's the most common example of a move that's like, you know, big animation, leaves them wide open after you block it, very punishable. This game, its equivalents are basically these launchers. Every character's launcher in this game is super unsafe. And you can very easily punish them. That's not launcher. You can generally pretty easily punish them from just about any range. But there's a lot of moves that you wouldn't know that are unsafe at first glance. Like, you might not think that that's unsafe. And it might be hard to jab it in an actual match, so you might not think it's unsafe, but it actually is, if you're early enough. It's a tight punish. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to our wonderful lesson. So the way I recommend trying to learn punishes is to just go into matches, and whenever your opponent does something on block, well, first of all, you have to actually be blocking a lot in order for this to even happen. You can't just go jabbing every single move that you block, because in this game, you know, people can do delayed strings that will hit you out of your jab. So you generally just want to block for as long as possible until it looks like the opponent's string ends, and then you jab. So, you know, you have Tianwo here. So that whole thing is a pretty long string, and I just wait till the end, and then I press jab. And if it works, then I know for the future, hey, when Tianwo does that, like, upwards uppercut thing, I can punish it anytime. And if you're first learning how to punish, it's generally better to always go for the quickest move you have in your arsenal. In this game, it's your standing A normal. You might call it a standing jab. You could call it 5A. Whatever you want to call it. That's your fastest move on every character. And this is generally the move that you just want to poke out there if you think something's unsafe. And of course, if you are a nerd, or if you really want to get into the data of the game, you can always take a look at frame data. All these scary numbers. Most frame data sheets in every fighting game have a section that says advantage on block. And basically, if you know anything about frame data, you know that the more negative a move is, the more punishable it is. So if you just look at the frame data and you see anything that's like minus 11, minus 15, minus 14, minus 16, all of these, minus 10, no, that's on hit. You know, you got minus 17 here, you got minus 10, minus 9, all these negative numbers basically mean that the move is punishable. I've actually been considering going into this and, like, let's say, let me zoom back out here. I've actually been considering going into this frame data sheet and just, like, doing this. A move that's unsafe gets colored, like, yellow, orange, or red based on whether you can punish it with, like, a light, medium, or heavy attack. So, a lot of frame data sheets actually do this. Such as, for example, Fat Online. This is the frame data sheet for Street Fighter, and you can see that moves that are minus are yellow, and moves that are really unsafe are like dark red. So, some frame data sheets will actually color code whether things are punishable, so you don't actually have to know the exact number, you just remember, hey, that thing's unsafe. But we already went through frame data in the past. That was a very fun time. Please do that. Oh, what, color code all these? I mean, hey, I could start right now. Look at that. That launcher is so unsafe. But yeah. So, you've got 3 methods of actually looking up whether or not something's unsafe. You've just got constantly checking during gameplay, which I recommend because it means that you'll be fighting other players, and fighting other players is more valuable experience than training mode, not obviously, but honestly. I think it's more valuable because there are some things that training mode can't teach you. Training mode is a tool that you use after you've played other players and you figure out what your problems are. It shouldn't be your starting point, it should be as part of a cycle of fighting players, figuring out your issues, then going into training mode to solve those issues, and then you just repeat that cycle. It's the last step. So, checking in-game, checking in training mode, and then just checking frame data. 3 ways. Ernie and Bert palette swap. Yes, experiencing punishable moves is better because you can actually visualize it in your head and you attach that memory of you actually hitting them out of it to that move's animation. You're like, oh yeah, I don't know what that move is called, but if I ever see them do it, I'm punishing them. As opposed to a frame data sheet where you might not even know what the move is because you don't play that character. On a side note, knowing what moves are punishable is also important for your own gameplay. Because, for example, let me record Tianwo punishing me. For example, if you're a Paprika player, you might not know that this is unsafe. But, if you learn that this is punishable and you punish other players doing it, A, you are now better against other Paprika players who use this move a lot, and B, you will avoid getting punished by your opponents because you know this move is unsafe. You are avoiding giving your opponent free damage by learning which of your moves are punishable. So, there's more than just the benefit of you getting damage on your opponent. You can also learn to avoid damage that your opponent will get on you, just by, you know, having that knowledge stored up in your brain. Now, one of the flaws, I will say, of looking at frame data here is that a lot of the time, the frame data won't tell you the whole story. For example, let's go down here, alright? This is Arizona's heavy stomp right here that I've highlighted. It's minus 11, which is a double-digit negative value, and that makes us assume that, yes, this is a pretty punishable move. So, if we go into training mode,
Take your pick.
and we're like, hey, my name's Palm.
I wanna go home.
Arizona's bullying me with stomps. But stomps are minus 11. Then you run into this issue. So, while the frame data here tells us that this move is unsafe, these numbers don't tell the entire story. There's also other things to watch out for here. The first issue that you might run into is... Get me out of this stage, honestly. I can't talk while listening to training stage music. I'm sorry. Get me back here. Not because of jump cancel. Arizona can't jump cancel this on block. Only on hit. But I'm using my fastest move, but it doesn't have enough range to actually punish. So while a move might be unsafe, there are intricacies as to certain punishes, based solely on things like range. A move might be really unsafe, but it might also have a very long range, and therefore it's very hard to punish. See, I can't even punish it from there. And that's when sometimes you have to try to do other things to punish moves. Like that. That is a whiff punish. Sometimes block punishing just doesn't work because of the range that it leaves the opponent at. So sometimes you have to preemptively punish things. Or, for example, this is a very interesting example that I don't see a lot of people do. Let me get this mouse out of here. Let me actually go back to this scene.
On a velvet. Give me.
Why do I keep picking train stage? Whatever. Poofsies? Oh my goodness. So one such example of this issue is Velvet's Shatter C. Now, if you look at the frame data for Shatter C, go down here, Shatter C. It's minus 20, which is huge. That's really unsafe. Let me actually show that. Minus 20. Super unsafe. Very, very, very unsafe. But it has so much range that even if you block it, you might not always have a punish. Like there, I was close enough. But if I get Velvet out of the corner, Tianwo can't really do anything here. That's not fast enough. That doesn't reach far enough. So sometimes you gotta get creative. So, basically what I'm saying with this little bit here is that you're not always going to get the full story just from looking at the numbers. And that's why you have to put yourself out there and experience these things to figure out how you can punish things. Another issue that you might run into
Take your pick.
is something that a lot of people who fight against someone like Arizona may have experienced very often. Once this loads anyway. So if we go back to that stomp, that's really unsafe. you have another option where some moves can be cancelled into other moves. And sometimes those moves will beat your punish. So that's another thing to consider, is can my opponent cancel this move even though it's super unsafe? Is there something they can do that can interrupt my punish? And if the answer is yes, then sometimes you'll have to hold back your punish and then punish the move that they cancel into. Because often that second move is also unsafe. But there are certain moves that you can always punish no matter what. For example, supers. Not every super, but Arizona's super for sure. You can always punish that. Sometimes even if it misses. Here, let me make it miss. Even if it misses, you can chase it down and punish it. So those are often the moves that you want to look out for in terms of learning how to punish things. You usually want to look for launchers. You usually want to look for stuff like unsafe specials. And you often want to look for supers. Hit me with this fun fact, Wishy.
Oh, will you give it up already?
Ah. Fun fact about this stage. Where's that zebra guy? There he is. Unrelated note.
A minor setback.
So, if you're unsure if your move is going to punish, what you can often do is start with what we call a confirm string. Because you can have two different types of combos. You can have what we call a confirm combo, where you basically do a series of strings that makes it easier for you to react to whether your opponent is getting hit before you do an unsafe special. Like, for example, if the opponent is blocking, I don't want to go into launcher because launcher's unsafe. So I do a longer string that lets me react to whether they're getting hit before I do the launcher. And that usually comes at the cost of damage. You lose a lot of damage by doing multi-hit strings before you're damaging specials. So that's one thing. And then you have punish combos, where if you know that you're guaranteed to get damage, you can immediately go into something that's a lot more damaging. And this usually increases your damage overall, because you don't waste a lot of your first hit scaling on a weaker move. But if you're not sure about your punishes, you can start with a confirm anyway. And that way, if you miss your punish, you'll be safe. And if you hit your punish, you'll only lose a little bit of damage. It's like a risk-reward thing. You're not putting yourself at as much of a risk by doing a few normals, like A, B, as opposed to A launcher, which, if you miss the punish... I didn't miss the punish. Oh, wait. I have to actually set them to block. If you miss the punish, you're like dead if you miss that. Launcher's so unsafe. So you can just make yourself safe. Like there, I missed the punish, and I stayed mostly safe by doing this instead of doing this.
Just you wait.
The only reason Arizona's getting hit there is because I still have her set to do this. That's just another little minor note to keep in mind. Let's see. We're actually going pretty quickly down this little list I have here. A little bit faster than I would have expected. Another thing that you might want to keep in mind in this game, in particular, is the, well, first of all, does anyone have any questions about anything that we've talked about so far? Blocking and punishing isn't the most, insane topic to go over. We're kind of starting back with basics here because it's been a few months, I would say. It's been a long time since we've had one of these streams, so
Give it up already.
And this is a very important topic, even if it is a little bit, how do you say? Simple? It's not the simplest. You still have to worry about things like ranges and cancels and all that. But this is one of the first things you should try to incorporate into your game at an early level. Like, two of the biggest things you want to incorporate into your game is how do I anti-air my opponent and how do I punish my opponent? Because those are both two ways that you get a lot of damage. How do I get good at switching between blocking my toes and blocking my face? That's actually something that we can go over up next, because this is that was actually up next on my list of things to talk about. So, if you want to actually practice blocking things and then punishing them, here's something you can do, at least in this game. So, in this game, you can go into training and you can record the dummy doing stuff, as you've seen me do a lot in this stream so far. I use the dummy recordings all the time. So, if you want to practice blocking in general, what you can do is, you can record the dummy doing something like this. So let's say I'm trying to practice blocking Arizona's overhead, which is, you know, blocking my toes versus blocking my face. So in this game, I believe I've shown this on another past stream, but what you can do is, you have 3 recording numbers. You can record the dummy doing 3 different things. So you can record the dummy doing 3 lows into an overhead. And then, in slot number 2, you can record the dummy doing 2 lows into an overhead. And then, in recording slot number 3, you can record the dummy doing 3 lows. So now that we have 3 recordings, we can go here to the recording number section and set it to random. And then we can save and load a state here. And here you can practice blocking this overhead. And if I'm wrong, I'll get hit by the lows. So here I've recorded 3 different sequences with different overhead timings, and that's how I'm going to practice blocking it, because I don't know which one's going to play. And then I can also practice punishing it, because Arizona's overhead is unsafe. See, I have the dummy set to blocking always, so the fact that I hit them means that I got the punish right. And this can also be a form of combo training, because oftentimes you want to practice your combo after you land the punish. Damn, I almost got it. That's a cool combo. But, that is one way that you can practice punishing things. You can also just go into training mode, and if you're not quite ready to practice specifically blocking things like overheads, you can instead just record any unsafe move that you want to practice punishing it. For example, we're actually going to go through probably the most important move that you should practice punishing ever.
Take your pick.
Ooh, what's going on with my frame rate? There we go. So, some of you might be aware that this move exists. And if you're not aware of this move, I'm about to lay it down for you real quick. There exists a legend of a move that Oleander has that is extremely hard to punish. It's invincible. It tracks you. And Oleanders like to use it a lot on defense. And that's this move, 2-2D. So, 2-2D, if we go into the frame data, or even if we were to play as Oleander ourselves and do this on a dummy that's on block, we would see that 2-2D is -9. So, if you don't know what -9 means, that means that the opponent has 9 frames where they cannot block after you block their move. So that gives you 9 frames to hit them for free, basically. And I'm just going to tell you now that the fastest attacks in this game are 5 frames, which is 5/60ths of a second. A frame is 1/60th of a second, you know, stuff like that. So you have what's basically a window of about 5 frames, which is 1/60th of a second, 5/60ths of a second, 1/30th, no. My math is so bad. It's like a 12th of a second. So, I don't know. I'm rambling here. Where is this on this frame data sheet? Yeah, it's -9. Okay. 1/15th of a second. So, if you've ever tried to fight an Oleander and you've tried to punish this, you're like trying to press A, but you're locked in block stun for so long. Like, look at this. Look at how long it takes for me to even jump. Oh yeah, I should actually mention that. This is another cool way that you can check if something's unsafe. You can have yourself block the attack, then you can go into training mode, options, and then set the dummy to jump, and then both hold up at the same time. And you can see, based on whoever jumps first, who has the advantage there. And if you jump a lot sooner than they do, then chances are you can punish them. So, as you can see here, I can jump a lot earlier than her. So that must mean that this move is pretty unsafe. So now, I have the recording, I have her set to always blocking, and I accidentally do slide somehow. And you just gotta feel out the timing for this kind of thing. It's been said that this move feels like it's only like -5, even though it's -9, because of how tight the window seems. This move is very abnormal. A lot of moves are very weird to punish. Another good example is this move by Tianwo. If you look at the bottom, it says I'm -13, which is really unsafe. But it doesn't seem like that all the time, because if you've ever tried to punish this move, you'll know that Tianwo recovers pretty quickly, and she's pretty far away. And the block stun is so short that sometimes you don't have enough time to even react to the fact that you blocked it. So, these two moves, 2-2D and Firecracker, have basically opposite issues when it comes to learning how to punish them. Where this one has so much block stun that it feels like you'll miss the punish, like, all the time. Like, right there I did it because I waited too long. That time I got it right. And then that time I was too early. And then you have this move, which has so little block stun that you have to react very quickly and respond with a move that will actually reach her in time, because look how far away she is. You can't jab that. Like, maybe Oleander could jab it. In fact, let's test. Let's actually see if she can. Oleander can't even jab this. She has to use something else. So there are a lot of moves that you have to learn specific punishes for. Not every move is just, you know, mash jab and it works. That's a good way to test which moves are the most unsafe and the most practical to punish. But later on down the line, you might find yourself figuring out other ways to punish other moves that your normal punish won't always work against. Those are usually what we call, like, character-specific punishes. It has a lot to do with matchup knowledge. One of the most intricate ways that you can learn about a matchup against a certain character is how to punish their very specific moves in very specific and effective ways, which is pretty high-level stuff. But I'm not here to teach you how to punish every single move, I'm just here to teach you how to teach yourselves how to punish moves, if that makes any sense. I'm here to tell you that, hey, these options are here, you can use them, go for it. Push blocking is a new concept. So push blocking was actually the very next thing I was about to talk about. I can't believe you are, like, a psychic. So, here's the thing with push block. Push block has a very interesting use in this game. So, obviously, well, I don't know about obviously, but If you've played this game a lot, especially at mid-levels or low levels, you'll know that the second you put someone into block stun, they'll often just start, like... They'll do what this Oleander bot is about to do. So, I am about to put this Oleander into block stun. And she's about to just mash push block like a fiend. So, push block is something that a lot of players do. But it's also something that you can take advantage of on offense, or even on defense. You can actually use push block to create a punish scenario on your opponent. So, here's what I mean. The first issue is that if you're using push block a lot, you're not going to get a lot of punishes. You are going to let your opponent get away with unsafe moves for free. For example, this Oleander bot just push blocked my super duper extremely unsafe launcher move, and I got away with murder, basically. I should have lost about half my health there, but because Oleander was mashing push block, it doesn't matter. I don't get punished. She's wasted her opportunity, I'm fine. She pushed me away, and now I know I can do those strings recklessly. So, if you're on defense, consider holding off on push block, especially if you're trying to practice punishing things, because oftentimes you will miss out on your opportunities. Ah yes, there are some characters who can actually, how do you say, find a way around push block. Push block is something that we'll have to go into a lot of depth on later, because there's actually a lot to talk about with push block. But in relation to blocking and punishing, you shouldn't push block too much if you're looking for punishes, because you will miss them. Or, as you can see, what just happened right there. Let's see. You can have a situation like this happen. Or even, let me set the dummy to do some stuff. You can have a situation like this. If I can get this right. You can actually do things like that. You can actually, if your opponent is canceling into moves that are slow to whiff, such as if I were to do something like this. Well, maybe this isn't the best example. I guess this really is the best example right here. A lot of Tianmos will cancel into this slide, but if the opponent push blocks before she does the slide, she'll often just whiff in front of their face and get punished. So we can actually set this as an example here. This is actually a way to generate a punish in a situation where you wouldn't otherwise have one using push block. So, push block is very hard to explain general uses for in general, because the way that you use it against each character is different, and the way that you use it against each player will be different based on their habits. If your opponent is always block stringing into unsafe moves, then you will probably never want to push block just because you want those punishes. And if your opponent has very good pressure and scary up-close mix-ups, then you probably want to push block them more. Or if they're like a Tianwo and they're doing, you know, flight pressure on you all the time, you might want to be more patient and just push block them away, just so that they, like, go away. But in terms of blocking and punishing, just mind your push blocks so that you don't miss on punishes, and try to push block. Well, I wouldn't say try to push block. It's like two very contradictory phrases I'm saying here. One is don't push block ever because you might miss out on punishes, and two is maybe sometimes push block because you might make your opponent whiff and then you can hit them out of whatever they whiff. Like this. If I could even get this. Like that. That's what I meant. I don't know, push block wasn't actually super important here. It's definitely something that I'll keep in mind for a future stream, though, because, like, holy cow, push block is very, very difficult to lay a hand on and figure out how it works and when you should be doing it. Because, like I said, a lot of people's first instinct is to just go away from me, push block, get out of here, I don't want you. You know, just mash it. Because they don't want to deal with mix-ups. But that's also bad because you miss out on a lot of punishes as well. Yes, push block will actually stop chip kills. So if you're at low life, it can be better to push block more often. Just to avoid getting chipped out. But that's probably something that we'll discuss in the actual push block stream. I was considering putting push block into the stream as a whole, but I realized that talking about all the things that push block does and how to use it is actually a lot harder to talk about because it's all very specific. And this is more of just a general stream to explain how to go about, you know, learning how to punish things. But yeah, let's see. I have my notes here as to what I wanted to talk about. So we did a quick overview of what blocking is. Cross canter as well. So cross canter is actually a type of punish, believe it or not. But cross canter is risky in its own way because cross canter is unsafe on block if they manage to block it. Like, for example, if I cross canter this... Oh, never mind. If I cross canter that, I die. But if I cross canter something like, let's say Oleander's doing... Well, first of all, cross canter can be a way to completely avoid a mix-up. Like, Oleander can do that string, or she can do, like, a low string. And oftentimes you can just, like, say, I don't want to deal with this mix-up, I'm gonna cross canter. And it's riskier than push blocking to get out of a mix-up, but it can also be more rewarding if it works. Yeah, cross canter is very timing based, and it's very, it can be expensive to use. A lot of time you'll want to save that meter for supers. It also often depends on your character and how well you can actually capitalize on that extra red damage, because if the opponent recovers that red damage, you don't really get rewarded. All you get is, like, the get off me. But, almost every move in the game is actually punishable by cross canter if you time it right. Like, for example, even this jab. I did that so fast that she couldn't block. Cross canter is effectively faster than almost any move can recover. It's just a matter of you have to actually either A, have a read as to what you're blocking, or B, the move has to be slow enough that you can react to it. Because, like, I can't do this on reaction. I can't see that I blocked a jab and then cross canter. I have to input the cross canter, like, a few frames after I actually block the jab. So, it can be hard to use well. But as with learning how to punish things in matches, it can often be good to just go for cross canter to see how it works and when it'll work. But as a general rule of thumb, you don't want to use cross canter on jump attacks, and you don't want to use cross canter on light attacks. And you also generally don't want to use cross canter against Tianwo and Oleander specifically, because they have very good tools for just avoiding it. Like, Oleander can do this. So... Oh, that's a super. Oleander can do this nonsense, and then she punishes you. You definitely don't want to use it while frozen. If Velvet has you in that, like, slow motion free state, you never want to cross canter. In fact, you never want to do anything in that state. You just want to block and wait for it to wear out. It's very hard to ever do anything in that state. But yeah, cross canter is unsafe on block, so it can be useful for you to punish, or practice punishing it. And it can be useful to use it as a punish for moves that you might not know how to punish. Like, for example, like something like this. You can't actually punish this, like, conventionally. But if you cross canter it, you technically do deal some form of damage and knockdown to the opponent. So that actually does count as a pseudo punish. So I guess it does fit in here. Cross canter has a lot of range and speed. Like, a lot of range. Like, look at that. Yeah, but that's very specific. I mean, I said, like, conventionally. Like, we're talking, like, bare bones, like, hey, I'm trying to jab this. Or hit it with one of my buttons. But here, you can still get something out of cross canter. So cross canter has its own uses. Yeah. I'm not here to, how do you say, outlie every single punish in the game. What else? There are some moves here that I will go over. Specifically, I've already went over Oleander's 2-2D, but another move or two that can be, how do you say, difficult to punish are things like Oleander's invincible eruption here. This is fully invincible, and on block, it's actually plus, so it's actually more than safe. It actually leaves Velvet at the advantage after she uses it. Oleander's like magic teleport. That's like super weird to punish. It's just got a weird timing to it, and you should practice it in training mode if you haven't already. But the other move that you might not know how to punish is Paprika's command grab, because you can't actually block this. In order to punish it, you have to actually jump and then do an air attack. Same deal with Velvet's DP. You have to read it and jump it, because you can't block it and punish it. There's no way to do that. I call Oleander 2 Velvet. No. But as you can see, there's a lot of very strange ways of punishing things that you might not realize immediately. Like, if you want to punish this move, you basically have to force it to whiff and then punish it. Like that. And then, if you want to punish Pap's command grab, you have to guess when it's going to happen and then get a jump attack. Yeah. Let's just do a very short overview here. We did our review of blocking, you know, high blocking, low blocking, and so on. Anti-airs, whiff punishes, and punishable moves. Those are the 3 types of punishes that you want to look for. Whiff punishing can be difficult to do. It's usually a higher level thing. Anti-airs are something you should always be looking for in just about any fighting game. If you can force your opponent to not jump, then that's very, very helpful, and you should, you know, stick to that. And then learning which moves are punishable just by, you know, trial and error. You can test it in training mode, you can look it up on frame data sheets, whatever works for you. And you should always keep in mind that there are some very odd specific punishes that can be difficult to figure out. And those are the ones that you usually take to training mode, like the ones that are range dependent, or like your opponent might cancel into something else that makes it hard to punish. And in terms of how to practice blocking and punishing, you can go into training mode, you can set the dummy to do a string into an unsafe move, and you can practice from there. That can also serve as good combo practice, because, you know, you want to practice your punish combo. And probably the most important thing, in terms of punishing things, is once you learn which moves are punishable, you should always go for the punish every single time you see that move, like, blocked. Anytime you block your opponent's launcher, you should at least try to jab it and get that free damage, because the important thing about punishing is that it is free damage. It's something that you are missing out on if you're not going for it. You want to get that free damage. Because the only other ways to actually get damage on the opponent is to, like, open them up, you know, beat them in neutral, use a mix-up on them. But otherwise, you know, you want to capitalize on their mistakes and get the free damage that they're giving to you. If you often find yourself out of range, then, like I said, that not every punish is going to work based on range. Sometimes you gotta try a longer ranged attack, sometimes you gotta try dashing forward and then hitting a button. There's a lot to figure out there, and that's where you can experiment. Like, if you know a move is unsafe and your opponent keeps doing it, you can just, every time you block it, you can take that opportunity to try something different to punish it. You could try, you know, if you're Arizona, you can try doing a stomp. If you're Paprika, you could try doing her cartwheels. If you're like Oleander, you could try dashing and then jabbing. There's a lot to do there. But goodness gracious, my voice is starting to die here. But that's all I have for my notes. It's already been about an hour, so I would say now's a good time to get some player matches going. Who would like to be first? Got Wishy. Wishy-washy. Alright, so it'll be Wishy versus Good Joe. Alright. Let's see if we can see these players attempt any sort of fancy punishes. It's important not to mash after every single button that you block. Like I said earlier, you should always just wait for the string to end and then jab, you know? That's always a very nice idea. Because otherwise you might get counter hit.
Sure, kid. I going easy on you. You seem nice. Will you go away?
So here we have Arizona versus Palm. Goes straight up for a throw. Opens Good Joe up with the overhead. A combo drop, that's unsafe. Wishy-washy just jumped backwards instead of trying to punish. Another case. That's definitely the type of move that you want to just try to hit whenever you block it. A very nice thing about this game is that every character's launcher is unsafe. Every single one is super unsafe. I mean, I guess they could frame trap with dogs, but that's not usually something that you're watching for. I don't know if Good Joe knows how to do that or not. Oh, got hit by the launcher. I want to see someone block something unsafe.
These are a few of my favorite things.
And then punish it.
Kicking, stopping, and kicking.
So far, Good Joe has been throwing out some of these launchers, so we've got opportunity. So that was another case where Wishy could have possibly tried to jab, but I know that that sweep is unsafe. It's just a matter of testing the grounds to see which ones you can actually hit. Ooh, actually dodged the 2C with their elbow. Went for the jump C instead of going for the regular punish, and it actually worked out. Sometimes when an opponent does an unsafe move, you don't always... If you think you're too far for a real punish, you can actually go for a, just like a dash up into a mix-up of some variety. Like, you could try to throw them. You could go for an overhead. Free pressure. You got hit high. Oop, that was unsafe. And Joe, I think, got the punish there.
I'm so jealous. You get to stop now.
Yeah, I think Wishy actually punished Palm's jump C with that jump A earlier, which is pretty cool. Ooh. There's a punish right there. Something that's important when you're actually going for punishes is to be ready to combo off of them if you're gonna go for them. Because if it works, you better be ready for it. You don't want to go for something and not be ready for it to hit. Ooh, we've got mix-ups. Grabs the tech roll. That's also technically a punish, now that I think about it. When the opponent tech rolls, they're actually grabbable during the end of the roll. So if you're watching for a tech roll, you can actually grab it and get free damage that way. And they can't tech that through. Are we doing best of 3? I don't know, how do they usually do this? It's been a while. I know they usually do like one-on-one match. Best of 1. Here. I think I'm gonna stick with that tradition. They usually do best of 2. Or first to 2. Alright, let's do first to 2s.
Like my pa always says, put him up. Do I have to be here?
Round 1.
Yeah, they probably mean best of 3. Or first to 2, which are the same thing.
Here, boy. Dang it, Fightin.
You can't block while you short hop. Oh no, no punish. She's not going for it. Go for it. Oh, they push blocked instead. That's what I was mentioning earlier about if you push block an unsafe move, you miss out on your opportunity. There you go, that's a punish. Just jumping back. All I want to see is Wishy punish one of these launchers instead of jumping backwards. It's my dream. They did get the punish on the 2C though.
Round 2. Fight.
I swear, this is one of those streams where by the end of the stream, punish is not going to seem like a real word anymore. Ever get that, like, feeling? Where when you say the same word a lot, it starts to not sound like a word anymore. Oh, interrupts. Uses the dog on defense. There we go, that's a whiff punish on the launcher. Not blocking after teching, unfortunately. Uh-oh. Ooh, jabbed after the magic dash. Threw him off. Ooh, they traded. There we go. That's an anti-air. Good stuff.
My mama don't raise no fools.
Arizona wins.
Rock and jump. I'll just call him Jump. Jum. You'd be surprised. Palm Launcher... Well, there's an instance where the range might affect your punish, but there are things that Arizona can do to beat it. Like Light Stomp, for example. She can Light Stomp, and that'll punish it from any range. Or possibly even just like a dash up 5B, or dash up 5A, or something like that. Those also work. Yeah, sometimes you gotta get creative with your punishes. It's not always about hitting them with the jab or hitting them with your most damaging attack. A lot of the times you have to incorporate other things. Think outside the box. Alright, so we've got ourselves an Oleander versus a cow. Oh, we got a 6B in the house. Not blocking low. Ooh, had the opportunity to punish that. Oh, there we go. There's one. How many punishes have we seen in this match so far? I think it's 1 or 2. There we go, there's a punish. 6A has actually pretty decent range, so not necessarily a bad option for punishing. Could have hit her out of that reading, but went for it that second time. Ooh, it's interrupted. Oh no, just out of range for 5A. That would have punished if they were closer, but that was probably a place where Arizona had to use like 2B or something.
So naive trying to beat me.
At least they went for it.
Round 2. Fight.
Yeah, a lot of people... That's the other thing that stops you from getting punishes, is holding up and back. Because it's a lot harder to punish things if you block them, if you're jumping away. Oh, there's a punish. Especially if you're like... Mostly because it puts you at a farther range from them. As crazy as it sounds, sometimes you want to be a lot closer to your opponent, which is why I recommend not going for push blocks if you want to find punishes.
Got it.
Oh, that's unsafe. Oh no, they didn't get it. Got it that time, though. Good choice for a crouching normal, too. Because Arizona can do her headbutts. And those will whiff if you're crouching. Yeah, sometimes if you try to punish with grab, you'll get push block on accident. Same thing if you're trying to punish with super, sometimes you'll get cross canter on accident. Which is always unfortunate when it happens. Oh, going for the chip out. No, wait, no. I got the health bars mixed up. There we go! That's one of those range-dependent, character-dependent punishes that I was talking about, where,
Final round.
Arizona's only option to punish that super is her own super. And the fact that Jum had that, it's pretty cool. Going for an anti-air. Ithrock was blocking. This isn't like a lot of other fighting games where the opponent can't block in the air. You can block while jumping in this game, which can make it harder to anti-air. But anti-airs also do a lot more damage, because you can combo out of them. Oh, got crossed up by that teleport. Probably could have stomped that. Let's see if Jum has another super. No, they were too early that time. They went for cross canter. Oh, with punish the launcher. Launchers are bad on block. Ooh, nice reactions. Chicken blocking? I don't know. I remember that there was a stream that was like mostly dedicated to just blocking, so they might have done it there. This one's more about the punishing side of it.
I don't have the time.
Yeah, Arizona's launcher isn't the best.
Oleander wins.
It whiffs on crouchers, and she has better combo routes. So Zinder said fight, question mark, so we'll see if we can get Zinder soon.
I reckon you're in for a wrecking. Fred, look alive.
Round 1.
Alright, we've got the side switch tech. Seeing a whole lot less push blocks, I feel, than we might otherwise be seeing. This game feels very different if both players aren't push blocking, I gotta say. It feels a lot more hectic when both players are constantly push blocking and, you know, always returning to neutral. Ooh. There we go, there's a nice punish right there. Drop the combo afterwards, but little victories. Got the punish on the 6B. Anti-airs. There's an anti-air, but too far. Oh no. That was actually a smart idea, but unfortunately that misses if they're crouching, and every launcher is considered crouching. Went for it again that time, but... Ooh, we got the overhead. That was a pretty close round. Only 16 seconds left on that clock. Ooh, whiff punishes the rope. Double jumps in the wrong direction and drops the combo for it, but hits the overhead smite and back to neutral for the read, as they say. Oh my goodness, raw launcher. Gum actually has a really big comeback to make here now. Very low amount of life compared to Hithrock. They've been getting that 6A a lot on that launcher, which is pretty good. Tried to punish with A headbutt, it looks like, but didn't work out. Ooh. No combo from that overhead from Hithrock. Alright, let's see a big punish. I guess that was a big punish. They could have comboed from that, but sometimes you miss it.
Final round. Fight.
3 times over.
Which of these two fighters will emerge victorious? No punish. Went for the overhead instead. There we go. 6A. Tried to jab that. Pretty good idea. Scramble situation there. Both players doing their specials. Ooh, there we go. Anti-air rope. Gets hit by the smite overhead. Alright, let's see if they can super this. Oh, they were too early again. They had it the first time. Not that time. Rope OP.
Mess with the cow, you get the horns.
Arizona wins.
Can all believe what we wish. Alright, so now it's tied up. This is not the right button. Okay. Trying to access my wardrobe on accident.
I've no time for games, Bovine.
Yeah, there's a lot of cases where characters can use
Fight.
additional strings to make their unsafe moves safe. But there are some moves where you're guaranteed to get a punish no matter what. For example, Oleander's overhead, her magic teleport, and her super, and her launcher. Those are 4 of them there. And for Arizona, you have like her super, her overhead, her launcher. Those are all guaranteed to get punishes. Alright, Jump's got quite a life lead here. And they got full magic. Oh, there we go. Opened up low.
These are a few of my favorite things. Kicking, stomping, and kicking.
Round 2.
Also, based on your character, you can use different things to actually beat specific options. Like, for example, Arizona can use her armor to blast through Oleander's fireball strings. And Tianwo can use her bash special to go through fireballs, and Palm can use her bark to go through fireballs. Some characters have their own special options. Oop, there we go, nice 5A. Oh, deep headbutt can actually combo into a few things. Even at full screen, you can combo into rope. Could have gotten the punish on that magic teleport, but went for headbutt instead of an attack. Maybe it's an input error. Maybe they're trying to go from low blocking to 6A, and they're getting a quarter circle in the process. Oh yeah. Yeah, you can make it pretty safe with that. Punishes the read with a rope. Looks like this game is very close here. Oh, no super. Goes for the grab. Gonna be very hard for Hitherrock to win this round now, especially with only 2 seconds left on the clock. Oh my goodness. That almost did enough damage for Jump to lose that round. They're so lucky that didn't do enough damage. Alright. Who wishes to be next? Oh. Rest in peace, Wishy-Washy. It's good to have you here, though. Thanks for attending. Thank you for your questions. I like when there are questions, because it means I can answer them. Ah yes, there is a beginners tournament happening tonight. It's been posted in the Fightin Fanatics Discord under events and tournaments. Now this will be an interesting match, because Paprika does have a lot of unsafe moves, but she can also often string them into other unsafe moves. Yeah, there's a beginners only tournament happening tonight in an hour and a half. 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ooh, teleport shenanigans happening. If you're interested in signing up to that tournament, head over to the Fightin Fanatics Discord and check out the events and tournaments page, channel thing. Yeah. It's not actually a Fightin Fanatics event, but it is there. It is a community event that's happening, so check it out if you're interested in that. Ooh, punish the command grab with 2C. Wake up command grab. Oh, that's glorious. Ooh, the trade. They tried the jab mid-string and got counter hit for it. Sometimes that happens when you're trying to test for jab punishes. Oh my goodness. Round start super. Hey! That was actually a punish, I think. Good time to jab. Free t-shirt. All of the hits of t-shirt are unsafe. So. They both were just like, yeah, that happened. Oh my goodness. There we go. Gets the punish on the launcher. Punishes the 2C. 2C is like pretty unsafe. She doesn't cancel it into anything. Uh-oh. That's not a combo. Alright. This is actually getting kind of close. Oh, never mind. Just got smacked by a counter hit 2C. That does a lot of damage if it's a counter hit. Something to note, a lot of moves that are unsafe will have a counter hit state towards the end of their animation. So you can often tell if you punished it because it'll say counter. Do they want to fight more, or do we want to have someone else on stream? Alright. Let's get Grover Toast versus E1999. I think I said 9 too many times there. I believe we'll be seeing a Velvet versus an Oleander here, unless I'm mistaken. Yep.
Pink highlights? So last season! Pretty hair won't save our world.
It saves my world. Right.
Round 1. Fight!
Or Oleander.
Got it.
Gets the counter hit 2B. A lot of damage on this combo. I want to see some unsafe moves, and I want to see them punished. Grover getting counter hit after tech rolling. It's usually a good idea to just block after you tech roll. Look at all that damage from that combo. Wow.
It's over now.
Just no match for me.
Round 2. Fight.
What have we?
Ooh, the air throw.
Got it. Got it.
Punishes the teleport with an icicle. Uh-oh. Not the best shatter scene in the world. Getting hit after blocking the trap. Trap does very little block stun, so if you try to push block it, you'll get hit. Because the block stun's already over by the time you see it. E199 with these really good combos. Let's see if Grover can make this comeback now, though. Ooh, drop the combo. E199 with a pretty funny punish, honestly. Dash up, wait into 2 jabs. GGWP, as they say. Uh-oh. Yeah, Oleander combos are nuts when they're, really well developed like that. I think I've made some mistakes in life.
Pink highlights? So last season. Pretty hair won't save
I've got a
our
cough
world.
drop that's melted
This
to a
ain't my
napkin.
world, Right.
I think I've made some
Round
mistakes.
one. Fight.
Grover's not really putting up any zoning. E99 already has tons of magic, but Grover gets in here.
Beautiful. Got it. Good touch.
Oh, that's unsafe. E199 misses the punish. Yeah, I broke the cough drop. Doesn't work anymore. Unless I want paper in my mouth.
Got it.
Oh, those combos are so cool. Ah, these counter hit starters are hurting so much. Ooh, nice confirm from that counter hit. Drops the combo though. Dodges the fireball with Shatter A. That's unsafe. E199 gets the punish, and that's gonna kill.
You're dumb. You lost, and you're dumb.
Round two. Fight.
Which of these two fighters will emerge victorious? That was not a good combo into super, and E199 is gonna punish it very, very hard with this combo here. Are we gonna see Fred? Yep, there he is. Everyone's favorite book demon. Gets the cross up using the teleport. E199's Fred combos are scary. Keeping themselves safe using Fred's attack. It's one of those instances where an unsafe move can become safe if they have an additional option. For Oleander's case, almost all of her moves become safe if she has Fred out, so you gotta be careful if Fred exists. Alright. I guess Hans and Zinder... Oh, there they are. Ah. Seems like everyone's gone at this point. E199 is on again. E199 is not what I would call a young lion, but... what can you really say? Yeah, don't cross-canter if Fred's out, because Oleander can just block if you try to cross-canter a Fred attack. And then you'll get punished. No.
dead. Look
Aw
alive.
man, that's a koi cow.
Round 1.
Training stage. Aw man. So they're backing up.
Not yet.
Doesn't want to get smacked. No push blocks here. And pick the best time to try to jab out, but that's how you learn. Gets hit after waking up. Needy 5C as they call it. Oh my god, this damage. Please. We can stop. Oh, Zinder. Please block. Zinder, no!
So naive.
You gotta block, man. Gotta do it.
Round 2.
Fight.
Block the book. With your face. Oh, there we go. Backs up to the corner. Jumps in. Gets a combo going. Drops it. Catches the tech roll. Gets smacked by a fireball. Blocks the cross-up fireball. Very nice. Blocking low. There we go. Had to jump out after blocking the first one. Gets the cross-up. Side switch back into the corner. Ends the combo a bit prematurely. Now they might actually be dead. Yeah, it's dead cow. Rest in peace.
My cause is righteous. Do not get in my way.
Oleander wins.
I feel like we could get 1 or 2 more matches in here. Here we go. I might have kept this going longer, but I don't know if it's immediately obvious, but I think I'm coming down with something. I am unnaturally congested, and my throat's already sore, even though I've only been talking for about an hour and a half. So,
Like my pa always says.
that's just how it is sometimes, though.
Ready?
I think we got all we needed.
Fight.
Oh, we got Stealth Cow. Wait, the Stealth Cow is the other one that looks like Snake. Oh, there's a punish.
I'll get you. Take off.
Oh no, Zinder went for a push block instead of punishing the launcher. Unfortunate. No worries, we still saw things that were helpful. That's all that really matters. Ooh, didn't quite combo into that launcher, and he's gonna get punished for it.
Not a scratch.
Not blocking on wake up. There we go. It's the unsafe launcher. Gets combo into super. Not blocking low on wake up. Oh no. Oh my goodness. There's a punish. For the win, even. I've got to point out every single punish I see. Every last one. Just so we get the point that they are quite important to look for. Ooh, the trade. Brings them up high. Tries to wake up with a button, doesn't work out. Ooh, anti-airs with the super. Gonna hurt. Is that a cinnamon roll? Send their combos into their own super. Into another super. Very nice. I like that combo. It gets hit by the cart C. Rest in peace, Zinder. Alright, let's get one more, I guess. If there's no volunteers, we'll just watch these two fight again.
Get out of my way! I've got a prayer to say.
Once again, we're in the wonderful land of training stage. Some might say it has very aesthetic appearances. Not the most aesthetic music in the world, but... Already Zinder's got a life lead. Uh-oh. Ate the apple and got punished for it. Opens them up with the overhead. Drops the ender for the combo. It's a cross-up. A little late on that rope. There we go. He's going for rope knockdowns into mix-ups. Very good. That's how you do the Arizona. Didn't see any real punishes that time, but sometimes you don't need them. There was a whiff punish. Jumped over the move and hit it. Dropped the combo. Got hit out of their follow-up. Interruptions. Uh-oh. Okay. I think we're still here. I didn't like that little freeze. Catches them with the rope. Drops the combo. Ooh. Gets hit by Telly C. That's another good move to learn how to punish, because a lot of paps will do it. Gets them out of the end of stomp. Uh-oh. No super. They could have punished with super in that situation. Ooh, catches the backdash with the magic headbutt. Is that gonna kill? Oh my goodness, it did.
Arizona wins.
I love the super into super combo. It's fun. More match. Oh man, all the challengers are pushing in. Alright, Grover versus Hands. This time for real, the last one. Everybody get hype! Let's see what matchup comes our way.
Let us break
Velvet
the
versus
ice.
Paprika. Alright. I know Grover likes to do a lot of Shatter Seas, which are unsafe. But they can be difficult to punish, so we'll have to see if Hands has that or not. Oop, his combo's out of the, whatchamacallit. It's interrupted by Shatter Sea. Gets the whip punish on Grover for doing that, 2C. A lot of meaties working out, a lot of counter hits. Trying to go in. There we go, this is the teleport C. Punishes Grover for going through the eruption. This time Grover is willing to block for a bit, and then push block. Push block's the unsafe move, unfortunate. Gets another successful tele C. Again, push blocking instead of punishing. But they take the round anyway, with some successful zoning.
Round 2. Fight.
Round start cart A pays off for Hands. Tries to punish with cartwheel, but too far away. We're gonna see another tele C any moment now. Yep, there it is. This time Grover actually blocks it and punishes it, but they drop the combo. They're gonna get punished themselves. It's like a back and forth of combo drops into punishes. Tries to go for some sort of setup with that potted plant, but did a little late. Ooh, a 3-hit combo from full screen. Wow. It's anti-air by Shatter A. It looks like one more hit or two will do it. Grover gets hit. And there's the Shatter C we've all been waiting for.
Don't be ashamed. You were
Closes it out with the overhead.
Velvet wins.
Alright. I think that was a good set of matches for us all. So, thank you for attending our little Young Lions revival stream. I know that I'm not usually the one who does these, but hey, first time for everything. So, if you're interested, there's the beginners tournament happening in about an hour. You can check out the sign up for that in the Fightin Fanatics Discord. It's not a Fightin Fanatics tournament, but it is an event that's happening tonight. Otherwise, I believe we're still accepting donations for the Combo Breaker Fund. I believe you can find information about that in the Discord server. And otherwise, we'll probably be doing more things next Saturday. Probably match commentary, if I had to imagine. Be on the lookout for the next Young Lions stream. If you have any requests for topics, you could probably send those to the training channel in the Discord. But otherwise, yeah, if there are any questions about the topic from today... Ah, get me out of here. No. Okay. Never mind. Ah, no. I'm just gonna do that. Are there any questions about the topic from today before I end out the stream here? Any of them, their curiosities anyone need an elaboration on something that I may have glossed over on accident. Nah. Because if not, then probably gonna end the stream in about a minute here. With one last thanks for watching, everybody. And I hope you learned something and that you try to incorporate these sorts of things into your gameplay. That way we can all get better together. And in the meantime, I'm gonna focus on getting better physically so that I don't feel sick anymore. And I'm also gonna go get birthday cake. It's my birthday. That's the secret tech. But otherwise, have a good night, everybody.